I'm trying to figure out if I should do serious makeup or if I should do like normal makeup. I don't know which one. I feel like I'm running late, like really late, and I don't have the time to be doing lashes and contour and all these things. So I might just do like a very small makeup. If you see me looking over there, that's because that's where my mirror is. And at the moment I am trying to do things that I'm not used to doing. So I think I did a video when I turned 25. I don't know, I feel like a lot of women are very shy about saying, not shy, but like it feels like too much personal information to be saying how much like how old that you are. And then here's me on the internet coming to tell everyone when my birthday is and how old I'm turning when and whatnot. But I don't know, it's not that serious. Mark Zuckerberg has all that information anyway, and yeah, he's probably making a lot of money off of it, I guess. Anywho, I really wanted to do this video because, and it's so random, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just had like an exhausting year. I feel like I've had a year where I've learned so much, but at the same time, like, I didn't really have to learn so much. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I was telling someone something that was like happening to me, and she was like, oh, it sounds like you're learning a lot. I said, I did not ask. Did I ask for it? No, I didn't. I literally graduated. I did a master's degree last year that I finished, and I have finished my quota for learning. I don't want to be learning anything else. I don't want to be I'm not asking for any more lessons. But yeah, man, I don't know, I just feel like this year was just such a massive learning experience. But even talking about like my masters last year, like I did so many things, like up to like, because I'm 26 now. It's my birthday next Sunday, so this is like my last week of being 26. I don't know, I feel like anyway, I'm rambling. Let me start from what I was gonna say. I accomplished a lot of things last year. Like I accomplished so much. Like I look back at it and I think I don't even know how. Definitely scarred, definitely a little bit of PTSD, because I saw that recently. Because sometimes when things happen to me, I sort of like just take them on the chin and forget like what the experience was like. And then I had like an opportunity to almost sort of like repeat what I did last year. This is like specifically referring to my business, and I literally just started panicking. And then I realized that I was so stressed out last year. Like I was so stressed out. I started trading in my business, I guess I can use that word. And it was so interesting. I remember like when someone paid me money for the first time, I was just like, is this real? Like obviously I knew that it was real, but like, I don't know how to explain it. It was such a surreal feeling of like, wow, you could actually trust me. Like you actually, you and it was not even that much money, but like I was like, this is real. Like you guys actually really trust me. Like you really think you're gonna give me this money, I'm not gonna run away. I mean, of course I'm not, but like it's really weird. Like it's such a weird feeling that someone is giving you money to render a service. And just because of the way my business works, like it's not small, like small money, like £2-3 here and there, or £10. Like it's usually like big chunks at once. So yeah, that was very scary. And so yeah, speaking of I think I'm gonna change my camera setting. I don't really like what it's doing to my face. I look very beige, and it's sucking the color out of my face. Anyway, so yeah, I think that was just something. And I just feel like I just did a lot of adult things. I finished my master's degree, and I think I've said that like 100 billion times, but like in literally within the space of a month, when I turned 20, how old was I again? When I turned 26, I was just about to finish off my dissertation for my master's degree. I was just in the process of like getting my business up, ready to start trading, and I did all of that in the space of 2 weeks, really, of me turning 26. I mean, it was sort of like a little bit before then, like prepping up, but oh my god, that was like such a crazy week. And following on from that, this year has just been so much, like just so much adult responsibilities. I'm just like, And following on from that, and like in terms of setting up my business, like this last week, the amount and the level of like responsibilities that I've had has just been crazy. Like I went from like talking to like energy suppliers, trying to change energy, like this is not like for my business, like literally council, government. I have a lot of stuff to do with like my own personal like finance, shares that I'm trying to sell from a company. Did I mention that I moved jobs? Oh my god, I have to make a separate video about that, about like just moving jobs after being with the company for so long. As a young person, I feel like that was a very long time. But anyway, so I moved jobs, like a lot of like literally document admin that I had to do from that, and the fact that I moved jobs, hospital appointments, having to call the hospital, chase up the hospital for this, get like I have like some like at some point I say, you want to kill me? You want to kill me at this point? My anti-scarf, like you actually want to kill me, like you actually do. So like there's just been a lot of like unnecessary, heavy, just adulting activities of like one bill after the other. And because the UK is so systemized to some extent, I should say, I mean it's not far from perfect. We have a lot of issues of a lot of systems not talking to each other, but that's a different story. But because the UK is so systemized, like there's so many bills, government, companies, things, like is just a lot. It's a whole lot. It's just a whole lot. And yeah, I realized that I'm in the thick of it. Like I'm getting to that point in my life where I feel like I need an assistant. And when you get to the point where you feel like an assistant is when you know that there are problems. I think that I definitely do want to get better at, you know, managing my time, managing my I'm just gonna use this to like dub on that and let the foundation dry. Managing my expenses, like managing everything. I don't know, I'm trying to find the balance between doing that and just getting someone to do some things for me. But I know that my time management needs work, like it needs intense work, and I'm working on it at the moment, and I'm doing some things that I know that have always worked for me, but for some reason I just get very lazy about actually doing them and like keeping on top of it. So yeah, just lots of adulting activities this year has been filled with just like so much responsibility, and I'm trying to like balance that with the fact that I know that I'm still very young and I shouldn't be feeling like life is not just for like working and making money. Life is also about enjoying, and I don't want I've been very intentional, I should say, about not allowing my responsibilities come in the way of my own personal life. I remember even my birthday last year, when I had like this, I think I posted a video of it where like a rooftop I was enjoying. On that day I was just there, like my mind just like tried to block it out of my mind, but like my dissertation for my master's was due the next week, and my business was due to start trading in 2 weeks from that day of my birthday. So like, talk about being overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. Like I had so many things that I had to do, but I was just like, you know what, no, it feels like a lot of things where my friend was telling me I should try and do something for my birthday. A lot of things were like in the so like it just made sense to try and have a birthday party, and so I did, and so yeah, like I feel like for me to this day, that has always and will always be like a pinnacle of, I have a lot of things going on, and a lot of the times like the people who I'm with, the people who I talk to, they don't really, I think I kind of protect them from that. I don't know, I think I also need to learn how to find the balance with that, because it's not necessarily just a good thing that I could literally be drowning in work and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, so tell me how this thing that I really don't really need to know about right now is and how that's going. So yeah, I just need to learn how to, yeah, how to verbalize that a bit more. And I feel like I've been doing a lot better at that. I've been doing a lot better at like speaking my mind. I've been doing a lot better at like just saying when things are not, when things don't make sense. It could be maybe someone hurt my feelings. It could be maybe someone, maybe I can't do something for someone. Like I'm getting comfortable, very comfortable with disappointing people. Like I'm just like, I have to check with myself first. Like, am I whole enough to like enter whatever it is that I'm about to enter right now? And if the answer is, and it could be something as simple as like, I don't know, going to the shop for someone or something like that, but like if it doesn't make sense, like it just doesn't make sense. And I think I always used to hate when people say that, because it's like a lot of people are just like very selfish and self-centered, and I don't necessarily find, personally, I don't think being selfish is a good thing. There isn't a part of my book where being selfish is a good thing. I think looking after yourself and being selfish are two different things. So I just have to learn how to also look after myself. Like a lot of the times when you're catering for other people, put yourself in the mix as well. That's what I've been telling myself. It's like, I need to put myself in the mix. If I'm thinking about how this person feels, this person is going to feel, this person is going to feel, how do I feel as well? And sometimes my feelings take priority over other people's feelings, and sometimes other people's feelings take priority over my feelings, because maybe in that moment I'm stronger than they are, or in that moment I can help like for very little effort. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some things like that where you just sort of, it's a balancing act basically. And I've been trying to do that better. Like if there's something that I know, oh, this is going to really be a push, and I know that this is really overall, and because of how stressed I'm going to be, I'm actually not even going to be enjoying either being there for this person in this way, or like helping them out, or even sometimes, and you know the worst thing is, sometimes I would inconvenience myself so much for something, for someone that didn't really mean anything to them. Does that make sense? Like they would, in hindsight, they'd be like, oh, like you shouldn't have even like gone through that, because I didn't need that level of support, or I didn't even need you to be here. But like I will be riding through an ocean trying to get to the place, and the person would be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that. So yeah, there's things like that where I'm just like, yeah, you have to see, does this make sense for you? If it doesn't make sense for you, does this person desperately need it, and it's worth you inconveniencing yourself this much to get to it? And if the answer to those questions is no, then mind your business, you know, just mind your business. That's what I've been telling myself. I used to always use my, what's it called, water to spray my beauty blender, but since I started doing using this, it's just changed the game for me. Anyway, I had a lot of really new experiences this year, like a lot of new experiences, and they were not fundamentally good things. And because when I'm saying, oh, new experiences, it must sound like it's like something cute and nice, but a lot of times it wasn't. It was far from that. I got in a car accident for the first time this year. That was very scary, very, very scary, like incredibly scary. And the funny thing from that is, the worst part about it hasn't been almost dying. The worst part about it has been the level of admin that has come up from it. Like this country, the admin this is so velvety, it's weird. The level of admin has been crazy. Like, why do you need me to do this, send all these documents, go to this hospital, do this? Oh my god, it's just crazy. I went to A&E for the first time this year. I've never done that before. Like it's just things like that where it was like, wow, this is interesting, this is very interesting. Like I'll do something, and then usually in the moments, like I realize, oh, like this is actually, like I've never done this before, this has never happened to me before. And I just felt like I had a lot of that, and I don't think that has been the case for a lot of years. Like it's not something that's quite specific to me in that way, like where I'm like, oh, I'm experiencing new things, not a lot of the time, not in the way that it's happened this year, like just so much, literally so much all at once. And it's like very basic stuff, even like in areas of like finance, in areas of my health, in areas of just everywhere, all around my entire life that I was experiencing something new. And I think at some points it got very, very overwhelming. It definitely got like a little bit overwhelming, and I'm just like, ugh, I just need to just chill and take a chill and relax from everything that's happening right now. But at the same time, I found that I was so comfortable with being in a bubble. I feel like for a lot of my life, I'm in a bubble. I have been in a bubble because being in a bubble has protected me. Being in a bubble has just kept me sane with things that life will throw at you. I'm just like, nope, I'm not dealing with this, I'm just gonna bounce. But at the same time, I also found that good things don't really happen. Bad things don't happen in a bubble, but good things also don't happen in a bubble. And if you close off yourself to the world, you're closing off yourself to good things and bad things. So when you open yourself up, it allows for bad things to happen, but it also allows for good things to happen, which ordinarily wouldn't if you don't let things like happen to you, basically, if that makes sense. So yeah, that has been interesting. And it's like trying to find the balance between just allowing yourself to experience things with the, I feel like this is the worst thing to say with this part of my makeup on, but allowing yourself to experience things, even like fully, basically acknowledging that the things that you can experience can be bad, but they can also be good. It's like the dichotomy, is that the right English? It's like the balance of life, basically, that we have to strike. Is managing the responsibility of bad and good is almost a godly task, like an inhuman task. Like, it's kind of not, I feel like it's it's a lot. So yeah, I think that was my normal mentality, to shut everything out, live in a bubble, screw the world, let me just, you know, stay at home, watch my TV, do my job, film a YouTube video every now and then, travel, and just not really experience anything else. And as much as that is good, like, sometimes you also have to allow bad things to happen to you, because yeah, that's just life, basically. You can't really protect yourself from bad things, and I think that's a good thing to learn in general, because even as a parent, like, I can imagine how I always tell myself that I think it's going to be quite scary. I don't know if people, like, how people who are parents manage that, because I would want to protect my children from the world. Like, I would want to protect them from, you know, those parents. I feel like I would almost be one of those parents that want to lock their kids away in a castle, so nobody can touch them or access them. Not like in a that type of way, but like, literally, the world is crazy, okay? The world is crazier than I look. And so you just feel like you just want to protect people, you want to protect yourself from bad things, but that's not how life works, baby. That's not how life works. Oh, this is not going well, is it? But yeah, that has been a learning, and it's just like, I think because I'm so used to protecting myself from bad things, and I've lived my life just generally like just protecting myself in that way, whenever something bad happens to me, there's a bit of guilt that comes with it. There's a bit of guilt for like allowing yourself to be a bit more human, really. You just feel like, well, that was a bit dumb, I knew that was gonna happen. Then you think, well, I shouldn't have bothered. But it's just life, you know. You kind of have to think about it like that. Like, it's not your fault the bad things happen to you. And I think that a lot of times people don't remember this, and I think it's something worth remembering, that it's really not your fault. Like, it's really not your fault. The world is a crazy place, people are crazy, and people do bad things, and sometimes those bad things happen to you. Okay, let me blend this out. I look absolutely crazy. Do I feel any pressure? I was wondering, like, the fact that I'm deep into my late 20s. Hello. I don't actually. I don't really feel, oh my god, look at my scarf. Is this like, oop. I don't really feel any pressure. I think I am unfortunately fortunate that some of the source of pressures that you would normally have as like some of the things that make you have pressure, or the people, etc., I don't have. That is a sad thing, and however, I am, no, a win is a win, as they say. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't really feel pressure. I feel like I've always been mentally old. I don't know how to explain that. I've always been mentally old. So I feel like I'm like catching. When I was 14, my sister told me that I looked, dressed, and felt like a 25-year-old. So I'm finally catching up, if you get what I mean, to my true self, okay? But yeah, no, I don't feel any pressure. I really don't. I remember I went to Nigeria, and like one of my aunts was praying for me. Like, literally all of my aunts that I saw, all of them, funny enough, who were unmarried, kept praying for me to find a good husband. Like, it was very awkward. Because at the end of the prayer, she was like, I pray, Lord, that you give them like a good husband, kiniko. I'm just like, is this what you people have been dealing with? Like, is this, I just accidentally put my highlighter over my contour, and I just wasted my time doing that. Why did I do that? This beauty blender is horrible. It's like, it's very velvety. I don't know, it's hard. Let me remove my face. It's hard to explain. Why is it so velvety? It's very weird. Anyway, I'm really messing up my makeup. Anyway, so yeah, they're now praying for me, for my husband. that I don't have, and that's very, like, that's such an interest. Look, I look like the colors of, look like a sandwich, a tomato a tomato sandwich with beef, a bit of tomato, and the bread. Anyway, it's all going to come out nicely in the end. So yeah, I think that was weird. I think one of the pressures that people feel is to financially. I'm quite grateful that I'm so far, like, in the work. I think give me maybe 3 more months after this video, I'm going to be in a better place financially. At the moment, I'm not there yet. It's because I started the business and it took away everything that I had. Not everything, but just a lot. This is the worst thing. Sorry, I keep saying this is the worst thing to blend with. Jesus. So yeah, I don't feel pressure to be financially stable because I've spent an unhealthy amount of my adult or younger adult life basically working on my finances. Like, I spent crazy amounts of time, effort, like just actively going at it and like trying to find, literally when I was 16, I'm gonna make a video about this, I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna do this degree because it's most likely to make me this amount of money by this time, and this is, I'm going to put my heart and my soul into it, and this is what I'm gonna do. So because I spent so much time, I feel like I spent so much time working on just being financially stable. I'm quite fortunate that a lot of the eggs that I put in my basket have hatched. Some of them have not, some of them are very, like, it's just been a bit of a slow burner, but some of them have hatched, some of them have not, and that's okay. But it's not a stress that I have. And even so, interesting, my mindset around my work is so different. Like, myself in, say, 2018, if I started the same job that I started, would have been already working late, doing all these things to sort of prove to people that I'm worthy of being there and want to be the best person and the first person to come in and the last person to go. And as much as I enjoy work, I just find all of that politics and all of the trying to just, I'm not as desperate for it, basically. You dying for it? Do you know that meme? Sorry. I'm not as desperate for it as I used to be. I'm just a lot more chill, like, work-wise. And it also links to what I was saying earlier, that I've had the busiest year of my life, and most people around me wouldn't know. They wouldn't know at all. No, like, not at all. I've had literally generally the busiest year of my life. So yeah, I don't feel pressure to do anything financially because I have done the most. I have done the absolute most. And I got to a point where I was like, God, if after 10 years all the things that I'm doing is not working out, I'm sorry. This is, maybe I'm meant to be average. I kind of just accepted that at some point. I'm just like, I'm gonna try my best and always work for the best, but you cannot kill me. You cannot kill me with stress. I saw one meme on Twitter once where someone was like, look at the prices they're charging, Lord, when you don't pay it all. Jesus had paid the price. Please, people should leave me alone. So that's where I am mentally, like, when it comes to finances. But I wouldn't say I'm fortunate, because people always say, oh, you're doing too much, when I was always working so hard and trying to, like, you know, do the best with my career and my school and all of that stuff. So I'm fortunate in terms of, like, now slowly being able to reap the benefits of that. But that's because I just went beast mode on my career for a good decade straight, right? So I get to rest now, and most of the things that I'm doing career wise is because I want to rest. No, actually, I do want to rest properly. I don't want to be doing all of this. I don't want to be stressing out in my 30s. I mean, nobody really knows how life is going to work out, and I'm constantly aware of that. And that's why even with my career, I'm always doing different things to make sure that, like, I'm applying for chartership. I applied for chartership and I was meant to be chartered by this time, but they had delays, so they had to move me to another cycle. Anyway, but I was doing that, and I even applied for chartership in Australia, and just so that if I find myself anywhere by God's grace where there's like a chemical engineering industry, I know that I will always find a job. So it's bare minimum things like that where, like, I want to, by God's grace, like, I want to do the best that I can to make sure that if I find myself anywhere, any country, any situation, I will always be okay, you know? And if you know that you, and I feel like we all know these things, right? If you know that you have a skill, that, or like, you have the skill, basically, like, some people are just good at doing things. So if you have the skill to be okay, like, why would you, for me, I'm just like, why would I be stressing about money? Yeah, I feel stressed about the responsibilities that I have, because I just have a lot of responsibilities, and this year, like I said, I've been quite busy. But I don't feel the stress because I feel like, oh, I'm trying to get to something. I feel like a certain responsibility, basically. So if I'm running my business, I feel a responsibility to do the best that I can with my business and take opportunities, and yeah, try and like manage that with my work. And in my work, I feel this the stress of like just being the best person that I can be by myself and doing things on time and deadline. So those are the stresses that I have. But because I feel like I need to be by a certain state by a certain time, I don't feel that pressure at all. Does anybody like do a scarf and do their hair and then you have an entire area that's just open? Anyway, was there anything else I want to talk about? I don't know. What else? I'm trying to figure out like what I feel excited about becoming, like, am I looking forward to 30? I think I am. I don't know. I think I am. I feel like I really am, actually. Like I don't think of it within fear. I mentally told myself anyway, like, that I didn't want to I feel like, honestly, even now when people are talking about marriage to me, I feel like I'm a teenage 25-year-old. Like, I feel like I'm too young. I'm like, don't be telling me all this stuff. Like, don't stress me out, please. I feel like I've always wanted to not get married before 30. Mentally, somewhere. I thought, okay, definitely after 25. But not before 30. Yeah, I think that is definitely most likely going to be the case, okay? So yeah, I feel like I didn't blend this enough here. I can still see the harsh lines. No! Look at that. I feel like it looks worse on camera than it does in person. Anyway, we're gonna hide it. So yeah, I don't feel that pressure there as well. I don't feel financial pressure. I don't feel pressure about, you know, marriage. So I'm just like, I'm not sure, like, is this what it feels like? Is this really what it feels like to be I'm not turning 30, to be approaching your 30s, okay? So yeah, I think I'm gonna have a good time. I think that I said before, I'm quite forward thinking in my life. I'm always like planning ahead. I'm like thinking, okay, like, when am I, like, even some things like in the UK, it's quite a big thing to like buy a house by a certain age, and I think I talked about that in the video that I did when I was turning 25. I'm just like, no, I don't want that. So I went and took the money and started the business instead. I don't want that. I don't really work with people's timelines. I kind of do my own thing when I feel like. So yeah, I didn't want that. And so same way that I feel about some of the things that you're supposed to have together when you're turning 30, I think I'm just cool with not having for now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to, I should have done some of this stuff after. I'm really looking forward to just being able to, I feel like I'm going to become more resolved within myself the older that I get, and I can't wait for that because my mind is just so all over the place. And yeah, I don't feel like yeah, my mind is so all over the place, and I feel like I could just be better at just being more like at peace within myself. And I also know that that comes with age. This year I've been very good at, like, when something happens to me, just acknowledging that I had a human moment. Whenever I make a mistake, in my mind I just tell myself, oh, it's okay, you had a human moment, you know, we're all human and we're learning as we go along. I'm trying to not be too hard on myself when I make mistakes as I used to be. Before I used to be so goddamn hard on myself. Jesus Christ, I used to be so hard on myself. Like, everything has to be perfect, everything has to be done right. And I'm like, well, you know, it's life, you know, this entire thing is chaos. I believe in God, I'm a Christian, and even God created humans and thought it was going to go one way, and they decided to do another thing, you know. So that's just life, you know. It's just the reality of life, that things are not really going to go the way that you planned it, and I'm just learning how to just be okay with that, really. Because at the end of the day, you know, there's nothing you can do. You can't do jack. So I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is, okay? It is what it is. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I feel like I'm in my harvest season, as cringy as that sounds. But I've spent the last few years of my life like really working hard at a lot of things. like slowly. I remember watching this video or listening to this podcast with this Nigerian comedian. He was on Tea with Tay, which is a podcast that I listen to sometimes. And he was saying how when he was trying to get into comedy, like things weren't really going well for him. And he called his mum, asking his mum, like just telling his mum about like how, you know, things weren't really going well for him, and he thought that he would have been here by now or done this by now, and that he's putting in so much effort but he just can't see it. And his mom asked him something about how, I can't remember the second tree, but she was asking, do you want to be an orange tree or do you want to be, I think he was like a corn. I'm gonna say a corn because the story basically is the same for this for a corn, because a corn basically, like when you plant it, you have to harvest, you have to cut the entire thing. Like it grows really quickly. Like, oh god, what is that? Corns grow really quickly when you plant them. So it's not quite difficult for you from plant to harvest is not too long, and there's quite a few fruits that are like that it doesn't take time to plant and see your like reap and see the fruit. But then she was also like, oh, do you want to be an orange tree? An orange tree, you will plant, you will weather, you will do this, you will do that. It will grow and grow and grow, and the tree will be big, and then finally you start seeing the fruit, right? But when you start seeing the fruit, the tree just never stops giving. Oh, I'm getting a bit, I don't want to get emotional, but and I don't even know why that's making me emotional, but like, it never stops giving. So sometimes when you feel like you're working at something and it doesn't really make sense, and you're just not seeing the benefit of what you're doing, I think that's a good question to ask yourself, is that, do you want to be a corn or do you want to be an orange tree? And so I feel like I'm in the season of my harvest. I remember one time, this is a friend that I still talk to actually, called me and was like, I told her, she just called me like, how much do you earn? And I was like, okay. I told her, and she was like, oh, like you better start going to get this job that's paying you like this amount. And I was just like, right, that's crazy. And for how hard I worked, like I could see like a lot of people who were sort of like starting out in industry who were earning the same amount as me and stuff like that. And you kind of always will see that stuff and go, well, you know, this is awkward. But there were so many things that I had in the way that I just kind of knew, you know. I never really let it really bother me too much because you kind of just know. And I've always had that, to be fair, because I feel like I'm always thinking about these things and sort of like planning ahead. I know where I'm going, right? And I know that where I'm going isn't necessarily reflective of where I am right now. And so yeah, I say all that to say that I have been an orange tree, and I feel like I'm starting to see the orange, okay? I'm starting to see like the things that I've worked really hard for start to slowly like come out, very slowly. Like I got monetized on YouTube, and I was like, wow, I've been doing this for 6 years, right? And if you use YouTube as an example, like the thing is with YouTube is interesting because I think I know the things that I need to do if I want to be making like viral content that, like, you know, everybody watches and sees. But I don't really care about doing that because for me it's not that serious. It's just YouTube, and I know you can make a lot of money, but it's not always about money from it, you know. It's not always about that. Even till now, I'm just like, now that I'm finally monetized, like I'm like still dragging my feet to actually do anything on this channel, okay? And I want to just do things that I enjoy and things that I think I want to talk about or I think will be helpful to people, rather than just coming on here to make content. So yeah, like it's taking me 6 years, and I know that my growth of my YouTube channel is going to be painfully slow, but I think that that's how it's supposed to be, and that's okay, you know. I just want to have money from this channel to buy another camera. That's my only goal. At this point, that's it. I just want a camera. At the moment, I have a rubber band holding up my camera so I can still see myself. Like, the setup is a bit ghetto, so I need another camera. But like, so these are some of the things where I find that a lot of times, like, people meet me right now and they see like the final, when they see the fruit finally coming, they're like, oh my god, amazing, you have fruit. But like, they don't really think about all the underlying, you know, stuff that you had to do, or like how much you had to push basically to get to this point. So if there's anybody out there who feels like they've been working so hard at something and they don't feel like they're seeing the fruit of it, just remember that we're all different. Some people are corns and some people are orange trees. I'm not sure what else to say in this video, honestly. So, but I was gonna do my camera off the rest of my my makeup off camera, but I just feel like, what's the point? You've seen me ugly for most of the video, so you have to see me look nice now. But yeah, I wonder how I think I have the ages of people who watch my channel. Like, I can see that statistic. And I wonder how if you're older, let me know how it was like turning 30 or like approaching your 30s. How that was like for you. Did you feel a thing? Did you not? Did you think there was something to talk about there? Maybe not. Considering how long this took for me to do, this is like some of the worst makeup I've ever done, so you have to kind of bear with me. I'm normally a bit better than this, but I just don't have the energy to like sit down and like do too much. So this is all you're getting today. I need to put some lip gloss on. My lips are dry as hell. So yeah, the moral of the story is that, oh, do you know, what I forgot to say is I went to see Beyonce. Listen, the first time that I created a highlights on my Instagram was Beyonce, and I haven't finished putting the highlights on Instagram. I cannot believe I went to see Beyonce. That was the first. I mean, was it really? I mean, it's just that it was first for Beyonce, of course, but that is a very, very noticeable first. I almost cried. Almost cried. I'm not going to lie to you. If I say that I almost didn't cry, I'll be lying. I almost cried. I don't know why I feel like I've listened to a lot of South Africans on Instagram, and my South African accent is coming out, the one that I have and the one that I don't have. It's a blessing to be getting older. It's such a blessing. Such a blessing, honestly. And it's one that I don't take for granted. I think that, yeah, it's just one that I don't take for granted. I think it can be scary. Because it's just the future, you know, everything is out in front of you. There's so many unknowns. There's so many unknowns, you know. But you just kind of have to keep doing the best that you can, and then just seeing how life plays out. I think that sometimes people don't often feel like it's a blessing to be getting older, especially when you're not living the life that you expect, or the expectations of the life that you had for yourself. But you know, it's just one of those things that life doesn't always plan out how you expect it to, and at every juncture you have to sort of see, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Okay, it's like stages, right? In project management, they always teach us about stage gates. Whenever you want to do anything, you know, you have to break it down into stages, and at every point you have a no-go or no-go decision. Like, okay, does this make sense? Is how I'm doing this make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, you kind of have to be brave enough to just stop, you know, and just turn around and do something new. I think I have fears around, I think the most, I actually tell a lie when I said that I didn't have any fears. The most fears that I have around with getting older, it's more like community, and that's question of family. And when I mean family, I don't even mean getting married. I just mean like community. That always is a question that's always around me, of like, especially because I'm not from here, like, what is that going to be like for me? That's a big question mark of, you know, where am I going to, if I stay uncuffed for the next couple of years or so, like, where am I going to go? Am I going to stay here? Am I going to, you know, there's so many of those questions, but you know, I just tell myself that it's one day at a time. I have a sister who keeps telling me that I need to like try and find another country and move and blah blah, but like, I think I talked about this again in that video that I made about turning 25. I don't want to move. Like, I know I'm just 27, but unless I have somebody who wants to move with me, a partner, a family member, whatever, I don't care, a friend, hell, even I'll take that. I just don't, I've done this before. I've done this whole finding somewhere, whole new country by yourself, and I don't want to do it again. I really don't. I really, honestly, really don't. So yeah, that's the only question mark fear that I have, is I don't know what my location, like, I don't know. And it's also the same reason why I didn't, you know, buy a house before, like, even though I was saving for it, or like a flat or whatever, even though I was saving for it, because I just thought, I feel like it's going to, not like it's going to tie me down, but like, I'm so not ready to like visit that part of my life where I'm like thinking, oh my god, like what am I going to do, where am I gonna stay? Like I'm just not ready. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to have to think about that right now. So I just put it on pause. I know that like soon enough I will have to face that and like face the music of that, like in the next few years definitely, and just like get over yourself and like find somewhere and settle down. I don't feel like, I think because I never thought that that would be something that I would have to do alone, it was not something that I thought about, right? In my grand plan of how my life was going to go, I didn't think about that bit. I was just thinking about making money and like being self-sufficient and financially stable. I didn't think about that part. So now I'm like starting to realize, oh shit, this isn't, I'm going through my notes, I'm like, this isn't in my playbook. So I just like, I don't really know what to do. So I'm just like, yeah. But I know that sometime, at some point I will have to think about that. And it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be that serious. People buy and sell houses and move around all the time. So I think that that's probably the only fear that I have. I'm scared of like moving myself from where I am to another place, and I'm too young to be that scared about that. Because life is changing, you know, the world is a big place, and I just have to remember that if the time comes when I have to do that, it's not that serious. There's planes, you can travel to somewhere and come back. If you need to come back, or maybe you might enjoy it. And it's the same thing again about experiences. The fact that maybe because of thinking of what I need for the future, maybe because my experience here in the UK hasn't been as pleasant or as enjoyable, let me say, as I would like, I feel like, oh, it's going to be the same everywhere. Yes and no. But again, it goes back to the same thing that I said before, of just being open to experiences. And the fact that one experience was bad doesn't mean that another one of the same caliber, or like in the same realm, would be bad as well. It might be worse, but it might be better, much more better than I can ever imagine. So there is that. This is going to be a really long video. Do I apologize? Hell no. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you somewhere in the space sometime soon. Bye.